Monday, February 6th. Now we're 5. When the lights came on this morning, the lift was already down, and a fat man in a gray suit was asleep on the floor. Fred found him. He's got his appetite back now, and he was up early looking for something to eat. He heard a snoring sound coming from the lift. He saw the fat man, dragged him out, then yelled for us to come and see. We went and saw. Jenny first, then Anya, then me. I don't know if it was just because I'd spent the last day in bed, but the image of the 3 of us stumbling out of our rooms and crossing to the lift really got me down. Our appearance, bedraggled and pale, heavy-footed, weary-eyed, and the way we walked, with the passionless excitement of death row prisoners. God, we all looked so weak, so helpless. Fred was standing proudly over the fat man, like a cat with a dead mouse. "Hey," he said, "look what I got." We looked. The man was in his late 30s, fat, with curly black hair and dandruff on the collar of his suit. He was lying on his side, snoring loudly, with the tip of his tongue poking out from between his lips. I bent down to check his pulse. "He stinks of booze," I said. Fred sniffed. "Drugged?" "Maybe. I can't smell any chloroform, though." I leaned closer. The fat man opened his eyes, coughed once, then puked. "His name is William Bird. He's a commuter. Lives in a village near Chelmsford, works in London, in the city, management consultant or something. Yesterday evening, after work, he met a man in a bar at Liverpool Street Station. An unremarkable-looking man, he said. Suit, raincoat, glasses, mustache. This man was also going into Chelmsford. They shared a few drinks, talked about money and cars, then got on the train together and shared a few more drinks from the trolley. I remember getting on the train," Bird said, "but after that..." He shook his head. "It's all a blur. I must have passed out." "Pissed?" asked Fred. "Not that much." Fred looked at me. "Roofies, probably. Or Special K. Something like that." I nodded. Roofies is the street name for Hypnol, a drug that knocks you out and makes you forget everything. Stick a couple of roofies in someone's drink, and they won't know what's going on. Special K is ketamine hydrochloride, an animal tranquilizer. Bird looked at me. "Don't I know you from somewhere?" "Yeah," I thought. "You've probably walked past me at Liverpool Street about 100 times. You've probably given me 100 dirty looks, or ignored me, or chucked your empty cigarette packet in my guitar case." "I don't think so," I said. Bird loosened his tie and looked around. "What the hell is this place, anyway? What's going on? I've got a meeting at 3. I left the others to give him the good news, and went back to my room for a lie-down. I wasn't feeling too bad, but I still didn't feel up to much. I certainly didn't feel up to explaining to a fat commuter that he was imprisoned in some kind of underground bunker by an unknown man with unknown intentions, that there was no way out, nothing to do, no privacy, no life, no hope, no nothing. That we could all be here for years. We could be here for years. No, I didn't feel up to that. I'm going to sleep." Woken by the sounds of shouts and crashing metal, then lights went out and a high-pitched whistle screamed through my head. The loudest, most agonizing sound I've ever heard. It probably only lasted about 30 seconds or so, but it felt like eternity. I thought my skull was going to crack. I still had my hands clamped over my ears when the lights came on again, and Jenny rushed in and told me what had happened. Apparently, Fred attacked one of the cameras with a saucepan. To protect himself from getting sprayed, he'd covered his head with a sheet and wrapped his hands with bits of torn t-shirt. "What happened to him?" I asked Jenny. My ears were still ringing, and my voice sounded muffled. Jenny waggled her hand. "He got a couple of good hits in, then the spray came on and soaked through the sheet, and he started yelling. 'Any damage?' 'What? Any damage?' 'Not to the camera. How about Fred? His eyes and his face got burned, and he hurt his arm when he fell off the chair. His ears are bleeding, too.' 'From the whistle?' She dug a finger in her ear. 'What?' 'The whistle. It hurt my ears.' 'I know.' There didn't seem much else to say. Jenny looked at me. I shrugged. She gave her ears another dig, then winced. 'Why is he doing this to us, Linus?' she said, wiping a tear from her eye. 'Why is he so bad?' 'I don't know. Some people are just like that, I suppose. They like being bad.' 'Why?' 'I don't know.' A couple of months ago, I got beaten up by a bunch of stockbrokers. I think they were stockbrokers anyway. Stockbrokers, bankers, traders, something like that. There were 6 or 7 of them, young men in sharp suits and expensive haircuts. It was a Friday night, about 8 o'clock, cold and drizzly, damp. I was busking around Princess Street. There are loads of wine bars around there, and they usually get really busy on a Friday evening. You know, end of the day, end of the week, start of the weekend. Let's all go out and have a good time. That kind of thing. Anyway, I thought I might get lucky, tug a few drunken heartstrings, get some cash. So I found myself a nice little sheltered spot in the doorway of an office building, got my guitar out, laid the case on the ground, and started to play. And I was doing pretty well, too. A nice pile of 50-pence, pound coins, a few 2-pounders. I'd even got a screwed-up $5 from someone. Then they showed up, the stockbrokers, the men in sharp suits. They were all good and drunk, and working hard to enjoy themselves, loud-mouthed, red-faced, laughing and pushing each other around. As they walked past me, one of them tripped over the curb and stumbled into the doorway, crushing into my guitar case and knocking it over. The coins tumbled out and rolled all over the place, along the pavement, under people's feet, into the rain-soaked gutter. I stopped playing and looked down at the drunken idiot crawling on his knees at my feet. He had gelled hair, a neat little sideburns, and he was laughing like an idiot and grabbing at the coins, throwing them at his mates. "You stupid shit," I said to him. He stopped laughing and glared at me. "You what?" "That's my money you're chucking away." "Yeah?" "Yeah." He picked up a pound coin. "You call this money?" I was beginning to wish I hadn't said anything now. His friends had shuffled over and were standing in a semicircle behind him, egging him on, looking for trouble. He was getting on his feet now. He was drunk. He couldn't back down. It wasn't a good situation. "Look," I said calmly, "just forget it, okay? It doesn't matter." He stepped towards me, holding out the pound coin. "You call this money?" I sighed. "I don't want any trouble." "You want this?" he said, holding out the coin to me. I didn't say anything. "You want it? Here." He lobbed the coin into a puddle. "It's yours. Now pick it up." I looked at him. He smiled. "Did you hear what I said?" I glanced behind him at the others. They were quiet, tensed, waiting for it to start. "Hey," said the drunk. I looked over at him again. He moved closer, grinning. "I said, pick it up, wanker." It was beyond words now. The line had been crossed. There was only one thing to do, so I did it. I unclipped my guitar strap and moved towards the pedal. Holding the guitar by the neck, I heard a snigger, an arrogant snort. Then I spun round and hammered my guitar into the drunk guy's head. It made a pretty good sound, a big, hollow boing. But I don't think it hurt him that much. If he hadn't been drunk, he probably wouldn't have fallen over. But he was drunk, and he did fall over, and that was too much for his mates. They all piled in and kicked the shit out of me. It's late evening now. I couldn't get back to sleep after the whistling episode, so I spent a while just walking around, thinking and looking and thinking. There's got to be some way of getting out of here, but I still can't see it. While I was walking around, Anya and Bird were talking together at the dining table. I heard Bird telling Anya that the police were looking for her. They'd found her car, searched the flat where she'd been abducted, checked the phone records where she worked, etc. "And?" said Anya. "Last I heard, they didn't seem to be getting anywhere." Anya shook her head. Useless bastards. I carried on wandering around for a while, and then I went back to my room. And here I am. I've been thinking about Dad, trying to imagine him at one of those press conferences you get when your kid goes missing. The room full of journalists and TV reporters, the cameras, the microphones, the parents or parent flanked by serious-looking policemen. The parents looking stern, trying not to cry, trying to stay calm. The mother or father's lip quivering as they read out a statement appealing for information. Then I suddenly realized, Dad won't know I'm missing. Of course he won't know. I've already been gone for 5 months. The only people most likely to miss me are Lugless and Bob, Windsor Jack, and a few other lowlifes. And they're hardly going to lose any sleep over it. On the street, people come and go all the time. Nothing lasts. No one stays around for long. They might have wondered where I was for a day or so. But after that, they would have just nicked all my stuff, blankets, guitar case, and forgotten about me. Dad thinks I'm safe. I sent him a letter a couple days after I left. I'm all right, I told him. I've got money. I'm staying with friends. Please don't call the police. I'll come back when I'm ready. Love, Linus. I sometimes wonder what Dad thought when he read it. I imagine his face as he opens the envelope, his mouth twitching beneath his gray mustache, his eyes squinting as he unfolds the paper and reads the letter. I wonder if he thought, yeah, well, maybe it'll do him some good, teach him to appreciate what he's got. Or did he think, shit, what's the matter with him, stupid kid? Or maybe he just thought, I don't know. My brain is spilling over at the moment. I don't know what to think about anything. I realize that I haven't fully explained myself yet. I haven't told you what you might or might not want to know. My history, my story, the details of my life. But you have to look at things from my point of view. You have to understand what you are to me. To me, at the moment, you're just a piece of paper. At best, a mirror. At worst, a means to an end. The truth is, all I'm doing is talking to myself. I'm talking to Linus Weems, and I know everything there is to know about him. I know what he's done, and what he thinks, and what his secrets are. So I don't need to explain anything. I don't need to tell a story. I don't want to tell it. I'm sick of it. 11:45 p.m. I've just been to the bathroom. Arse, and belly-wise, everything seems back to normal. On the way back to my room, I saw Anya and Bert again. They were still sitting at the dining table, still talking. They must have been at it all night. Anya had cleaned up her hair, and Bert had taken off his jacket and tie. His shirt sleeves were neatly rolled up, and he was making those infuriating hand gestures that business people make all the time. Pointing, chopping, open-palmed questions. Yeah. Anya was leaning forward with her legs crossed, nodding sincerely at all the right moments, looking at her hair. They didn't acknowledge me. One more thing before I leave for tonight. Bert said the man had got him when he was coming home from work yesterday evening, but as far as I'm aware, yesterday was a Sunday. What does that mean? 1. Bert works on Sundays? Unlikely. 2. Bert's lying? Possible. 3. I've got all the days mixed up. More than likely. That's all.